are back. I'm going to be wrapping up my last week of live streams on this group for the month of November. And I want to talk about boundaries today and really have a conversation about why boundaries are so incredibly important and how to really set boundaries in a healthy way. This is probably one of those topics that I feel like is the kicker for a lot of us in our relationships. And it really can be the linchpin of establishing a healthy boundary or a healthy relationship, or allowing a relationship to get into a non-healthy relationship. So for all of you joining on live, feel free to say hello and reach out and comment below and say hello, and just confirm that this is working, but I think so. Also want to just put out another announcement that the Ladies Love Lounge is now open, as you've seen, and I am already so excited to see how many women have been just flocking to it, signing up, just so excited. It's been amazing. I've been getting so many messages from women just being like, I have been waiting for something like this. I need this so much. I am so excited. So I am so thrilled for all the women who have joined us already. And if you have not yet looked at this or considered this, definitely I will leave the link below. Take a look at it. And if this is something you feel that calls to you, don't hesitate, because right now, like I said, I am opening this up at a founding member rate, and these rates are going to be going up next year. So make sure to jump in and join us before the doors close on this. So anyways, talking about boundaries, such a big concept, such a big topic. And I want to just kind of give a little bit of an introduction to boundaries, and anyone that feels that they want more support with actually laying down boundaries and really deepening into boundaries work, please DM me afterwards, because this is definitely something that takes a lot of thought and it takes a lot of practice to really get good at. But at the end of the day, this is something that women come to me a lot about, and not knowing how to really set healthy boundaries. So let's really unpack this a little bit about why it's so hard to set boundaries with people. A lot of times when women come to me, it's really coming down to, one, not knowing what their own boundaries are, right? And two, being afraid to communicate those boundaries. And there's this really powerful moment in this book that I teach and coach women on, that talks about, if there was nothing in your life, I'm going to screw this up, this quote, basically, when you've really done all the self-work, there's nothing worth closing your heart over, right? You can be open-hearted to everyone. You can give your heart, you can just be this open-hearted vessel to everyone in your life, and you never need to set any boundaries. And I want to call BS on that, because even though it's important to be a very open-hearted person, this is what I teach on, this is what feminine energy is all about really opening your heart, being vulnerable, it has to come with boundaries, right? And it has to come in a container of safety. Because if we are just allowing ourselves to be open and allow everyone in to our life, even if they haven't proven that they can respect us, we are actually opening ourselves up to get hurt. And I think this is really where the challenge can come in and the struggle can come in for a lot of people, is that they let people into their life that don't respect their boundaries, okay? And don't respect their core needs and their core desires. And so what happens is that we get burned. You get burned, and these people come in and they take and they take and they take, or they come in and they just disrespect you and they walk all over you, and then you're left feeling crappy about it. You're left feeling resentful. You're left feeling powerless, right? And then they get into a rhythm and a pattern of this because they think that this is acceptable. Okay. And so this is really, really important to recognize, is where in your life do you have people that may be crossing your boundaries, that are making you feel unsafe, uncomfortable, uncertain, disempowered, disrespected, right? And if it comes to family, if it comes to relationships, they're all the same. They are all the same. So I want you to think about that. If you have anyone in your life that makes you feel this way, this is an indicator that a boundary and a line is being crossed. And if we don't actually take the time to really think about what what are my needs? What are my boundaries? What are the things that I actually want to stand up for? If we don't think about that, then we get into these situations with people where they start to walk over us, they start to disrespect us, and we just feel angry. We feel angry, we feel irritated, we just feel disempowered, right? We feel sad, but we can't actually get ourselves out of it because we don't actually know what's happening. And give me a 1 in the comment box if this has ever happened to you, where you really feel like you feel triggered by someone's actions towards you. You know that they're not respecting you in the way that you really want, but you don't realize, or maybe haven't been able to communicate, that this is a boundary that's been crossed. This is a really, really common thing that happens for a lot of women. And that's why I really want to talk about it today, because it's really important, especially with the holidays, especially with COVID, right? Everyone has their own comforts, their own needs, and their own feelings of what feels good and what doesn't feel good, what feels right, what doesn't feel right. But nobody is ever able to know that until we actually communicate our boundaries. And this is the second thing that I really want to talk to is people can't innately know what your boundaries and what your needs are. We actually need to be shepherds of our needs and really be ambassadors for our boundaries. And we need to actually teach people what our boundaries are, because if we don't teach people what our boundaries are, then how in the world are they supposed to respect them, right? And you may think, well, this is total common sense. Everybody, has boundaries and needs, and isn't it obvious? It's not obvious. Because everyone comes from different circumstances and has different life experiences. And so what may be totally fine for one person may really trigger somebody else. And what may be a very serious need and value for one person may not be for somebody else, right? So I really want you to think about this. I want you to think about, what are some of the things that I really hold as values and needs? What are some of the things that are boundaries that I feel like I need to uphold so that I can feel safe to really go into my heart and be fully expressed, right? What do I need to put into place as a container? It really is like a container to hold your heart in a safe place. What do I need to create as a container so that I can feel held and secure within myself? Okay. And if you don't know what that is, that's okay. But a great place to start is to think through all the backlog of experiences that you've had with people where they may have crossed that need or that boundary, right? And you know that they've crossed it because something in you doesn't feel right. Either you may have gotten angry at them, or you've just felt really like, that doesn't feel good, that doesn't feel right, but I can't place why, right? Just really start to think through all of your past interactions, and if there have been any weird ones that have come up as like a little bing, then that is a place to explore. Maybe a need and a boundary has been crossed. Maybe something that I've been doing or not doing needs to shift, right? To make sure that people know what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. So I will give you a great example. Just yesterday, I'm here with a lot of my fiance's family, and they were wanting to have a lot of people over at the house. And I wasn't feeling comfortable about that because of COVID. And I had to be very clear and communicate that to my partner and say, hey, you know what? This is a boundary for me. Like, I don't feel comfortable being around a lot of people right now because of the state of the world. And I need to make sure that that's something that you can honor and that I can honor as well. And he was able to go to his family and share that and recognize, okay, we need to put some other things in place. Teal's going to go, over here, and we're not going to have as many people over, and we need to honor and respect her needs because she values herself and she knows what is important to her that allows her to feel safe. And that is so, so incredibly important. We need to make sure that we are shepherding what allows us to feel safe. Because if we don't shepherd for ourselves, what allows us to feel safe, then nobody else is going to do it for us. Right? Because they don't know. They don't know what allows you to feel safe. But it comes with you first reaching out to yourself and asking, what is it that allows me to feel safe? What is it that allows me to truly be my authentic, real self? Right? What allows me to make sure that I can be open and at peace and relaxed in my day-to-day experience? If there are people or situations that don't make you feel safe to be your relaxed self, then this is an indicator that there may be a boundary that's being crossed and that there may be something that needs to be communicated so that you are able to get back to that place of having that container of safety. And this is something that we talk about in depth and that I teach on and coach on inside of my group programs, inside of my one-on-one programs, because it is so pivotal. It is so pivotal. And really, when it comes to self-love, boundaries is one of the biggest parts of really loving yourself, right? It's so cliche, like, oh, loving yourself is just bubble baths and, getting your nails done and all that kind of stuff. It's like, no, it's so much more than that. It's about really honoring your worth, your values, your needs, your wants, and really honoring your safety within your soul. Because when your soul feels safe, it feels like it can be fully expressed, right? It can be playful, it can be silly, it can be lighthearted, it can be joyful. And that's what people want. People want to be around people that are lighthearted and joyful and can actually feel connected to themselves. But if you feel off and you feel icky and you feel like, oh, I don't feel good and I don't know why, and I'm irritated at you and I'm resentful at you and don't you know better, right? Then you're putting off all of these energetic spikes. Like, don't get close to me. I'm not a happy person. I don't feel connected. I don't feel safe inside of myself. And we cannot blame this on anybody else but ourselves. You cannot blame being disrespected on anyone else but yourself. That comes from you recognizing if you are feeling that and communicating that in a way that allows people to hear you. Not coming off bitchy, not coming off trying to lash out, because that's what we can do a lot too, right? If we're not feeling respected and our boundaries are being crossed, it's really easy to go into like mama bear mode, attack, right? Or just lioness, just I don't like this, and you suck, and you're horrible, and this needs to change, and why aren't you better at this? That's not relaxing into love, right? This is about coming home, feeling it in your body, hearing it within your soul, honoring it, coming to that deeper truth, and then coming back to the situation with whatever person that is and communicating that in a way that is objective, just like the way I'm speaking now, with a very objective tone, so that you can be able to really communicate what is the truth and what needs to shift. So for all of you guys watching, feel free to comment anything that you are hearing that really hits home for you, that you're saying, ooh, yeah, that really resonated. Or if you have questions on this, feel free to post on this. But I want you to really, really think about this for today, about, am I allowing anyone to cross my boundaries? Am I feeling myself getting stuck or feeling angry or feeling resentful for anything? And if so, where is that coming from? And I think I'm getting a little bit glitchy and laggy here, so I'm going to end for today and just keep this very short and sweet. But once again, if you are not a part of the Ladies Love Lounge, I want to see you in there. I want to be able to continue to support you and give you that guidance and be able to open up that space for you to ask questions. So feel free to reach out if you have any questions about that. And I hope you guys are all staying safe this week for Thanksgiving if you are here in the United States, and getting to do something fun a little bit to detach and get back to that place of appreciation and gratitude. So lovely to see you all today.